Okay, so this is what you need to turn your Lowrance HDS unit into an ice fishing unit. So I'm using an HDS5, it's a Gen 1. So you need this PPP18i ice pack and this Lowrance HDS5 ice adapter. This pack here comes with a transducer that will not work with the HDS and a power cable and no bracket. So that's what we're going to get in here. So this is the main kit. And then some accessories in this box. So on the transducer, that's the connection. So the power cable and transducer are in one plug. So that will not work. So we're going to use the adapter from the HDS ice adapter kit to adapt that to our blue connector on the HDS. And this kit too, I forgot to mention, also has a power cable in there to use with your HDS unit. So that's your transducer, your charger, some accessories to mount the bracket, float, bracket for an Elite 5 or Elite 4 Mark series unit, in which case you would not need that HDS ice adapter, you just need the PPP18i. Bracket for an older unit like an X67, a CUDA, X4. Float stopper, float cord, which probably won't use, and then a couple extenders for the mount. You'll see what these are for. So in the HDS ice adapter kit, you've got your power cable, transducer adapter, which will take that 6-pin unit plug to your 7-pin blue connector, to give you a set of gimbal knobs, and then your gimbal bracket to hold the HDS. So this is the bag, 2 tackle trays, this removable mount, which we're going to mount the bracket onto, battery, which is back there. So first thing I'm going to do after taking this out is just removing this whole assembly. So this is the contents of the bag of parts. You'll also have these 2 parts, this little plastic wing nut and washer. You don't need those. They're for some other older units that used a metal arm to hold the transducer. We're not going to do that with this. So these 4 screws and nuts are going to hold the gimbal bracket on here, and no matter which one you choose, whether it's the CUDA bracket, the Elite Mark bracket, or the HDS5 bracket, you can see the whole pattern will fit. So just like so. So we'll just attach that. The next thing we'll do is with this. This is just some Velcro. Just uncoil it, and then you can remove that tie that's holding the battery down. And through this slot here, underneath and on the other side, you can bring it up and over to hold the battery. Another thing they've done with this case is you have this lip here. That'll actually allow you to stack 2 batteries on top of each other. So for extended life. This is 12 volt, 7 amp hour. I would say you'll probably get somewhere between 5 and 8 hours out of that, depending on how cold it is. Okay, so I got that battery strapped in there nicely. These are all attached. The nuts on the bottom, you don't even really need to hold. They'll jam themselves up against those braces in there. So really all you need to do is tighten it with a screwdriver, and you don't have to go crazy. It's just plastic, so no need to over tighten that. So these things here fit in here, and I have the other one down here. They're for optional accessories. In the manual it says like cup holders, rod holders, that type of thing. I've never seen those. They might exist, but we're just going to discard those. We're not going to use them. So you have your mount up on the top here. So if you want to get it up higher while you're fishing, you can't leave it there when you close the bag. So you just set it down in here, and that's probably where you'll keep the unit most of the time. Okay, so this is the end of your power cable. So you got your positive and negative with those connectors on there. Yellow wire is not used. It's a wake-up wire, so if you're going to be attaching other accessories in a boat, you'd need that, so you can cut that off. These wires here are not used either. They're NEMA data wires, so again, to attach to an autopilot VHF radio. You don't need those. You can cut them flush here, just so they don't touch each other and cause any problems. Or you can come up to the plug and just take a razor blade and cut it off right there if you never intend to use it in a boat. So that's the wire you want to cut, NMEA0183. The other wire is your power wire, so don't cut that one. So there you go, I cut that flush, or as close to flush as possible. You know, just remember you're probably going to avoid warranty if you do that. So I attached the cables here. Fed them back through here just to keep them a little bit more secure. Just coiled up the rest and put that zip tie on it and left enough slack where I'll be able to plug into the unit with that connector. Okay, so next you can take your HDS5, attach your transducer adapter cable and your power cable to the back, and then just loosely fit it into the bracket like so, where you can still adjust. So next what I do is just pull out enough transducer line out of the assembly here. I've probably got about 2.5–3 feet out. And then your plug here will just plug into your transducer adapter. And then this coil of wires can just sit back here. And again, remember, you don't need to connect these power wires because they don't do anything on the HDS. If you're using an Elite or Mark or other Uniplug unit, you will need to use these, and you obviously wouldn't need the HDS ICE adapter kit. So this is the directions Lowrance gives you on how to attach your float to your transducer. You can see they use that extra line that they give you to go through the float with a stopper and then come through the transducer and then tie a knot to hold it. And I mean, you're just asking for trouble with that. There's so many different lines going to be in the hole. It's going to be harder for it to hold straight. So I don't recommend that. What I recommend doing in your float, that's a top view of the float, there's that little slit. Cut that all the way through and then just feed it on to the transducer line with the depth collar there. That's definitely going to be better than doing it the other way with that tether. I think the reason they have to do this is to get around some patents other companies have. But when you're using it, it just makes it a lot harder. So if you do it the way I suggest, it'll be a lot easier. So that's the transducer setup. So I found the slit, which you can probably see there. Just put just opened it all the way up, just with a knife. Put the transducer through, and then put the stopper up on the top. So when it's in the water, the float will adjust to whatever depth you have it set at. You can set it deeper if you need, and it'll just hang in the water like so. Okay, so that's the basic setup. You can use this down here as transducer storage, or if you want to use those tackle boxes, you can use those as well. These little guys here, there's 3 little pins there. You can use them to just coil your transducer cable around just to hold it in place so it doesn't all fall out. A couple things too just to keep in mind. If you are going to be using the top level here, when you pull the unit out, make sure you have enough slack in these cables to allow you to get it up there. I never really do that, so I just left enough for here just to keep everything nice and tidy back there. So next you just put it in the bag and we're all done. So one other thing to keep in mind is this bag was really not designed for an HDS unit, I don't think. If you put this bracket on, you can see how it tilts back. If you have it more the traditional way of tilting forward, the bag will not close. So you have to tilt this back. And if you put it on, the wrong way initially, just take the unit off and just flip this around, and everything will line up fine. You don't have to actually undo this bracket. Okay, so that's units in there. So it's a really well thought out kit. They with the 2 zippers here, what you can do is when you're traveling, feed your transducer line out the zipper here. Then on the back, there's this little pouch. You can just drop your transducer in there, carry it, and not have to worry about that flopping all over the place, getting damaged. There's also bags on the side here, zipper enclosures here, just for storage. You also have this hatch here, which is really nice because it gives you access to your battery so you can hook up your charger. So there you go, so it's all set up. So now's a good time to check and see, make sure your software is up to date. This one's 4.1, which I believe is still current, so I don't need to do that. So check out some of my other videos as well, just to see how I set these units up for fishing in shallow water.